But yeah, this is the 21st District Bullpen. I have with us Merlin, Brian Luch, Trish. These are some of the people who, who made sure that the fabric of this bullpen was authentic and told true stories. Now, you'll be interested to find out that a lot of these stories are real. A lot of these stories actually happen to cops, and we found our best ways to be able to manifest them here in this room so that we'll be able to know and understand what these cops are thinking about. But before anything, I would love to turn over to Brian Luch for 2 seconds. Hey, what's up, Luch?
Hello, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brian Luch, and Brian Luch will explain who he is and what makes him important and powerful for this moment.
My name is Brian Lucci. I'm in law enforcement for approximately 27 years, 20 and a half years with the Chicago Police Department. I was fortunate enough to work in the Bureau of Organized Crime for damn near 20 years. I started out episode probably 18 of Chicago Fire, which ultimately two characters, Antonio Dawson and Sergeant Hank Voight. Then we ended up doing an episode, which was a pilot, episode 23, and ended up becoming this show. Created Chicago PD, and then Med, I believe, and then Justice. So I've been here this is the 6th year. I'm a police technical advisor, script consultant, and associate producer with the show. And what's so nice is that I'm extremely rich in friendship. So every time we have an episode, I call no less than 10 to 15 policemen to try to get it right. Where you guys are at is the intelligence unit. And the intelligence unit is basically based on 7 or 8 policemen from an elite group out of 13,500 Chicago policemen that work on cases that are usually newsworthy or take a certain amount of expertise in undercover work and so on and so forth.
Naturally. So, not to cut you off, Luch,
No,
but if you are a member of a unit that inhabits this office, that means you code. And there are thousands of other officers who would be honored to work in this room and have partners this pretty. But they can't. I forgot to tell you, this is my partner, Burgess. She's also going to help us with the tour. Let's clap it up for Burgess, ladies and gentlemen. So, what's your name, brother?
Matt.
Matt?
Yeah.
Matt, I think that if we just follow Matt into that office, we can talk about one of the first things that I think makes this room very, very real and extremely genuine. And I would love for Luch to help me tell this story. But if we fill into Voight's office, ladies and gentlemen, this is Voight's office. This is where Voight sits down. Once upon a time, there was like a big crack in this window that I think we replaced. But like, if you are fans of the show, you used to see this crack. And I think that crack happened like at the very first episode. Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, yeah.
But I would love to talk about this brother right here with Brian Strauss.
When the creators of the show and Dick Wolf came to Chicago to decide where are we going to film it, what kind are we going to place, they went to a bunch of old districts that were closed. One of those districts was the 12th district. And when they went there, laying on one of the desks from some of the property that wasn't removed was a picture of Brian Strauss. Brian Strauss is real. He was my class commander. He was a great policeman, and he was killed in the line of duty. So what happened with that is they did some investigations. They talked to the family, and they said they wanted to honor Brian. Along with, you'll see Chicago Police Memorial stuff all over here. Get behind the badge. It's all real, and we've got permission to use it. There's a wall outside the real police department that has Officer Fahey, Officer O'Brien, and my father, all policemen that were killed in the line of duty. And the art department does an investigation to talk to the families and ask if we could use the name. And one of the guys came back to me with tears in his eyes and said that he spoke with one of the daughters. And she cried, he cried, and she wrote this heart-filled letter saying that we can't believe that Chicago didn't forget us and that the show didn't forget us. And we can't believe forever they'll be memorialized on a wall. So, I mean, I take pride in that. I take pride in these guys 100% respecting what they're doing, wearing a uniform that some people have died in, that people go out every day. So it's nothing less than incredible. And that's on my end of it.
Yeah, and these are just a couple pictures of, speaking of death and unfortunate situations. You can notice that Voight lives with these moments, obviously. This is him and his son right here, and this is him and Alvin Alinsky. And, obviously Voight, while he's in his office, shares brief moments.
You have your family on your desk.
Yep, I got my family on my desk too. We'll show y'all. It's actually a pretty interesting picture of not just my family from here, but my extended family, all the way from Red Wing, Minnesota. You'll see me and Patty's family with the Black Power fist. And we all did it, even his grandma. And she was, could tell it was the first time she had threw that one.
Because I feel like if anyone in the intelligence team would have something fake, it would definitely be like a character. And they were like, here you go. No, it's exciting for me. This is not a sad moment. It's a really happy moment. This is my touch. Apparently, I don't have friends, my character. I've asked for pictures, and they've never given it to me, so this is what I've got. I'm really happy with it.
And my actual family didn't get the approval to get passed, but like I said, Patty's family did. So this is them throwing up the Black Power fist. One Thanksgiving in Red Wing, Minnesota.
And you'll see the Don't Get Stuck, Dick Wolf. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was Dick Wolf. He said in like meeting one, he wanted that specific board to say Don't Get Stuck. And so that was his. So Dick is always sort of watching over us, physically, spiritually. He's always there with knives.
And not just us. I think Dick is actually kind of always watching you as well.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Brother, do you want to break this dangerous looking wall down a little bit for us?
Well, I can't tell you too much about this. Yeah, these are actually these are based on real shivs and other daggers that police have found at various crime sites. Brian?
Yes.
You've actually encountered some of these, right?
Yeah, some of these.
Yeah, so this is not just a fake thing. This is actually the real deal. Also, Dick was very adamant that we shoot the exterior at his old haunt, which is the Hill Street Blues 7th District station called the Maxwell Station, also known as Bloody Maxwell neighborhood. This whole intelligence and the downstairs that you're going to go to is based on that building. And if you have any questions about that, let me know.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the fact that, a lot of these weapons were probably collected from big drug busts, big violent situations.
Like that guy right there is the patron saint of drug lords.
Right.
So that's what we get. Like when we
Malaverte.
So
Yeah.
when we get drug busts, we always take a souvenir. Like all these little things are souvenirs from drug busts. I choose all the pink things. So.
So do drug lords basically like, I don't know, they like idolatry?
Yeah, I mean,
They basically,
And and not all of them in
Idols?
general. There might be one specifically that we busted that rock with idolatry a little bit. Naturally, we had to take those things from him because he won't need those things in jail.
You're standing in front of a snake, sir, I believe. Yeah.
Of course I would be.
Yes. There he is. No idea what that's about, but it's very freaky. So I'm pointing that out.
You make this right? You make this right? Oh, this is my right, your left. I apologize. This is my right, your left. Thank you very much.
Where's your locker, LaRoyce? He said you were
My locker?
Oh, I probably would.
My locker is actually this one right here. At least that's the locker that we act like is mine most of the time. All of these lockers sometimes seem kind of interchangeable. Where's yours, Birch? Isn't it right
It's
there?
often right here, but there's always male deodorant in it, which I find to be insulting. Like literally, like they put Axe. I don't even know. I've got hairspray.
Sometimes I'll throw
I've
a lot
got
of my
Daily
baby products.
Defense. What else do I have? And there's some, I think
There
they
should
maybe
be some
switched
Old
it.
Spice in there too.
Oh
That's in
no,
there.
no, there's some Sure. So like literally before I go into start every day, I'm like, got my tools,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
And what's cool about that wall that you're standing by my brother is that it kind of comes out and pulls. Like these are one of those retractable wall vibes, right? Like when we close this off, now this is something like a private bathroom area that nobody ever really, that you wouldn't want to use. But it's a cool thing to have.
It's also unisex.
Yeah, extremely unisex, which is 2018.
Yeah.
So I think most districts have unisex locker rooms a little bit
Luge?
because we're progressing that way. So this locker room is not that exciting. However, I do think you might be entertained by a powerful dad joke curated by John Seda in this very locker
Can you
room.
just do it? Can you be John Seda and do it?
I will be John Seda, and I will do it. Watch this, y'all. I watched John Seda, extremely perplexed as he looked at these lockers. Confused, like he didn't know what the hell was going on. Next thing I know, the dad joke came right out, naturally. How come they never lock him, only lock her?
You guys, we get this every day.
At which point, I looked at John Seda, told him he was a genius, and laughed my ass off.
Every day. That was the best dad joke you've ever heard.
You feel me? No, but his execution is a lot better than
We
mine.
actually have another interview room that's even smaller, and it's really hard to shoot inside one room. So what we do in sets a lot of times is we create what we call wild walls. This one's on a hinge, so we just hinge it back, and you can put a camera here. You can see into the room without everyone being in the same room. Also, you notice over here, this is supposed to be one-way glass, but for camera reasons it's not. But you also don't want to see the camera in the shot. So what we do is it's called gimbaling, and you can see that we gimbal that, and therefore, we don't gimbal it this much, but that's fun to do.
So when we're filming, like we're watching them, it's like that. There's no mirror.
Yeah.
So we're just actually watching.
And then it's over here, we want to gimbal it a little bit so you don't see that, you don't see the camera.
Is that we have things like the stairs that go to nowhere and the hallways that lead to nothing that help this space feel very full and live and active, but there's nothing around these corners. It's kind of like life a little
Don't
bit.
look behind the curtain.
Yeah, so this is, from what I understand, and I got people here to fact check me, but once you walk through this door, at least in this vestibule area, it's an exact replication of what you'll experience if you walk through the actual 21st district or the actual,
7th district.
The actual 7th district.
21st district exterior.
right, but this is the actual 21st district exterior. It was inspired by all those real vibes. However, past the vestibule area,
That's
we're making our
world.
own decisions. That's our world. And so if you're ready to walk into our world, please be my guest. Start with you, young lady.
I was waiting for the people with the camera.
Sorry, it was just a camera. Oh, cute.
Yep.
Oh.
I remember when I first came to this place, honestly, it does very much feel like, not that I've been to jail or in offices like this, but
Some other time.
it was, listen, past life, I'm from Harvard. But this feels very real and lived in, especially when you start putting actual cops in this space. I think that's my favorite part about it. When we actually get the
Extras who are real
the
cops.
extras who are real cops in here, when I tell you it feels and lives and breathes like an actual cop office. I mean, that's exactly what it feels
Luce
like.
said one of the things that they do is, in order to sort of, the desk sergeant to exert control and dominance, is that you're sort of higher than the people that you're looking at, which is something I kind of want to implement in my own home. When people come in, just be like, you're on my turf now.
Naturally.
And like, even like we were saying before, these little things, they actually, you guys chipped
Yeah, I
these,
personally came in and actually hammered this. It wasn't aged enough for me, so I came in and just.
which I think is
smashed
so cool. Of just
That's
these
dope.
little touches that you probably don't see, but add to this sort of feel when you're watching the show.
Any questions?
it. And Brian, you really talk about it, when the cops really love the feel of this place.
Oh yeah, all the policemen, I'm an old timer, so I'm real old, I'm 51. But most of the younger cops never got a taste of what the old districts felt like. Most of the police station you walked in and there was a guy who they'd be shining shoes there and they looked out for him. There'd be homeless people sitting, keeping warm. So when they come in there, they're like, oh my God, when they play an exorcist, it's like, this is fantastic. This is what home used to be like. And now a lot of them are cookie cutter precincts or districts or stations, whatever you want to call it. But this gives you that I'm home feeling. The stairs here go upstairs just like in our OCD, narcotics and gangs and intelligence. You have to be palmed in and go upstairs. It's an elite group of individuals, not just anybody can go there. But when you come down and you see the lawyer talking to the client, you see the guy handcuffed walking in to go to the lockup, you got mean old battle axe Platt here, that's real. And these characters were picked from stories and real people. There's a guy, Terrible Tom Toulis, that worked in the 21st District, who's a legend. And that's who.
Toothless Tom?
Toothless Tom, terrible Tom Toothless. He was a guy who was just mean as hell to me, and it's just an amazing feeling, you know, to see the uniform and be reminded that we are the police every day, and walking through here, how incredibly awesome it is.
This place definitely, and Burgess might feel the same way, but it does put you into that home kind of feeling. I know first couple seasons, me and Burgess wore our blues and lived in this space a lot. This is where we got a lot of assignments. This is where we got, had a lot of tough conversations. A lot of real moments early in our cop careers happen right here, and so I just love living in this space because it takes me back to that kind of nostalgically.